Hi, this is Chess Edwards, and I'm going to share with you another beautiful salad this afternoon. Sometimes when I'm not eating meat and I want to add a little meatiness to my salads, one of the fantastic substitutes is a portobello mushroom. The portobello mushroom done properly can really add some beautiful, beautiful meatiness to your salads, and they're so gorgeous anyway. So we're going to work with the portobello mushroom today and make a fantastic salad. The base of this salad is quinoa. So we need to get our quinoa started. And quinoa is a grain. And it's a grain from Bolivia. It's got a lot of protein in it. It's really a whole food in and of itself. One of my friends calls it the world's cutest grain because when it's cooked, it's got this beautiful little spiral in it that's just cute as can be. So this is the quinoa itself. And very small little tiny pellets there. And the way you make quinoa it's very simple. It's very much like brown rice. It's 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water. So a cup of quinoa and 2 cups of water in a pot. Bring that to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer after it's boiled, covered, and let that simmer for about 15 minutes or until all the water's gone, and that's how you make your quinoa. So I've already got mine cooked. We'll bring that in just a little bit. Once you get your quinoa started, then you want to make your marinade because we're going to marinate our portobello mushroom. So the way we make our marinade is we're going to start off with garlic. And garlic is 1 clove of garlic. Now remember, that is not a clove. That is a clove of garlic. The first time I ever cooked with garlic and I read a recipe and it said put in a clove of garlic, I thought that was a clove. That didn't turn out so well. So now we're going to use a single clove of garlic. One of the ways you can get the hull off of your garlic is go ahead and take the flat edge of your knife, or the flat side of your knife, and just bang it on top of your garlic, and it just peels that skin right off and ends you up with a beautiful, just the meat of the garlic. It's a small clove, so I'm going to put in another small clove to make a whole clove. So we got our clove of garlic, and you want to have a sharp knife. Really important whenever you're cooking, have a really sharp, good chef's knife. Some people might think that a sharp knife is more dangerous, and the truth is a dull knife is much more dangerous than a sharp knife. So what you want is a finely minced clove of garlic. So there we go, we got that. And that's going to go into, I'm going to mix this in a jar today, a little jar. Garlic. Now, the next step is ginger. This is ginger from the store, fresh ginger, but notice it's got the brown skin on it. We don't want that. So I've peeled this one, and it gives the nice white skin underneath, or a nice white meat of the ginger underneath. And we're going to mince enough of that to be 1 teaspoon of minced, whatever it is I'm cooking. What is ginger? Minced ginger. So mince that up really nicely, and you really do want to get it nicely minced. Ginger is incredibly potent, so if you leave a large chunk of it in your marinade, and by the way, our marinade is also going to be the dressing for the salad. So you want to make sure it's nicely minced because you don't want anyone getting a big chunk of ginger or garlic in their salad. They're both too strong. So nicely minced. That's nicely minced there. And we're going to put in a teaspoon, a full teaspoon of minced ginger. Okay, that goes into our dressing. Okay, next we're going to use 2 different types of vinegar. We're going to use a balsamic vinegar for this, and the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of vinegar, but we're only going to do 2 tablespoons of the balsamic vinegar. The balsamic vinegar is the dark vinegar. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. 3 tablespoons of balsamic I find is too strong for this recipe. All right, a teaspoon of soy sauce. I use liquid aminos, Bragg's liquid aminos. It's a soy sauce substitute. It's got a lot of good, powerful, and strong, and healthy liquid aminos in it, hence the name liquid aminos. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon of that. All right, let's see. Now, it calls for a teaspoon of honey. Now, what I have found is that if I take a teaspoon, pour a teaspoon of honey, and I can't get the darn honey out of here into the dressing, it's kind of a little bit more difficult. So what I do is I just eyeball it. I take a look at my teaspoon, it's about the size of a teaspoon, and I put about that much honey in my dressing. It doesn't have to be exact, so good enough. Let's see. Now, we're gonna go with sesame oil. And sesame oil is really strong, but it's the base of this marinade. It's really what gives the marinade its main flavor. But sesame oil is strong. So, this is toasted sesame oil. And toasted sesame oil, you're gonna want 2.5 tablespoons. You might wanna just do 2. I upped it to 2.5 because I like that flavor a lot. I'm gonna do 2.25 today. That feels about right to me today. If you need more on your dressing, you can always add it in. So that's our our toasted sesame oil. Now lemon. I squeezed a lemon earlier, and we're gonna do a full tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. There we go. And now, sesame seeds, toasted sesame seeds. I couldn't find toasted or roasted sesame seeds at the store, so I just bought regular sesame seeds and just roasted them up in the pan. It only took me about 5 minutes. So we got those going here. And we're gonna put in a full tablespoon of the roasted sesame seeds. Okay, that is it. All right, so now the nice thing about doing it in a jar like this is to mix it, to really get it to mix well. You can just go ahead and shake the heck out of it, and it really gets those flavors going. This is the type of dressing that if you make it and leave it for about an hour or so before you actually use it, it's even better because that ginger and that garlic and the sesame seeds, all of those flavors are seeping into the dressing. So you want to sometimes let it sit for a little bit, but a good shake like this, that'll also do the job. Now that marinade is ready, it's ready to go. Next step is our portobello mushroom. So we're going to take our portobello mushroom, and the stem here, I like to leave that stem on there, but I like to take just a little bit off of the top. Like going to the barber, just a little off the top, all right? Now what we've got here is we've got these beautiful folds in here, and we're gonna take that marinade and we're gonna pour it down right on top of there so it settles down into all those folds, all those nooks and crannies, and really gives a beautiful taste to the mushroom. So we're gonna get that set in a dish, some sort of a dish that you can bake in. I'm going to put a little bit of water in the base of my dish. The mushroom goes on top of the water. Probably a little bit more water in there, just a little bit. Now my marinade is ready to go. And I spoon that into, no, I don't yet. Hold on, one other thing I gotta do. Butter. I like to put a little bit of butter in my mushroom before I put in the marinade. What that does is it just adds a nice, buttery flavor to the mushroom. You don't have to, but I like to. So this is what I've done. I've gone ahead, you see I already got some of the marinade in there, but I went ahead and just put in a little bit of butter in there, and that's going to melt into the mushroom as we bake it. So that's the butter. Back to our marinade. Now you don't want to use all the marinade on your mushroom because some of it is going to go on the salad itself. So you kind of fill that cup shape of the mushroom. There we go. That's it right there. Got the butter, it's got the marinade. That is now going to go into the oven. I use a toaster oven. And we're going to set that for bake 375 for 20 minutes. All right, so that's going. Now I made one earlier. So this is the one I made earlier. And this is it right there, fresh out of the oven. toasted sesame seeds. So what I did was I baked it for 20 minutes and then I broiled it. So I got the top nice and brown. I broiled it for about another 7 to 10 minutes after I baked it for 20 minutes at 375. All right, now we're ready to plate this. So, here is our quinoa right here. Beautiful, fluffy quinoa. And again, it's the cutest grain on the planet. It's got all these little curlicues inside of the grain. It's precious. All right, so our spoon. We're gonna do a nice bed of quinoa in the middle of the plate. We're then going to take some of the sauce. I'm gonna get my mushroom out of here. We're gonna take some of, this is the water. This is the water that was at the bottom of my mushroom, and some of the marinade seeped into the water. So that's a beautiful thing to use to spoon over the base of quinoa. So I'm gonna spoon that over some of it over the base of the quinoa. Now, take my mushroom, set it right over the top of the quinoa. Quinoa is fun to cook with just because it's so darn fun to say quinoa. So there we go. We got the mushroom on top of the quinoa right there. Now, what we can do is around that, we can put baby lettuce. Now, I buy my lettuce bag. I buy my lettuce bag because I'm busy. I got a lot of things going on, and it's easier for me just to buy bagged lettuce. So, Trader Joe's, a lot of the different stores, they have organic. Make sure you get organic lettuce, baby greens, things of that nature. So we're gonna go with organic baby lettuce. I'm gonna surround my mushroom with a little bit of the lettuce. And then from my garden today, I'm fortunate enough to have a garden, I picked a bunch of arugula. So this is the arugula. They also call it rocket. If you're from England, Australia, Fiji, places, Samoa, places like that, they call this rocket. So that's what you might be more familiar with calling it. Put a little bit of the arugula around the portobello mushroom. Now, only a couple of vegetables really go on here. I've tried this with a variety of things. Avocado doesn't go so good with it. What I have found is that big, chunky, again, we're going for a meaty salad idea. So a couple of meaty type vegetables such as carrots. And what I'm gonna do with my sharp knife is chop some of my carrots into lengths, like that. So we get a nice good size to the carrot, a nice good chunky bite. And that one's a little bit thick. That one gets chopped down. Carrots get set around. Cucumber as well, a nice fleshy type of vegetable. I like to leave the skin on my cucumber. I like to get as many nutrients and vitamins and goodies out of the food that I eat, so I tend to leave the skin on a lot of the vegetables that I eat. And the same with the cucumber. You want to slice it down and then chop those slices into some good size chunks. So you end up, again, with some good meaty size chunks of cucumber. Look at that, beautiful cucumber. I can't help it. Good, all right. So that gets placed around the salad. And if any of your cucumbers or carrots are too big, you can go ahead and chop those down. You can really play with this salad. So here's another thing I love to put on here. We're not going to do it today, but one of my favorite things to put on here is beets. But a lot of people don't like beets. I hated them as a kid. I love them now. beets are really good on this salad as well. Again, meaty, right? A good full, robust, meaty type flavor. So that's it. I'm going to take now our marinade, reshake it. That goes over the outside on the actual salad part. Now, if you're into it, if it works for you, let me show you this before I put it on. I'm going to put some feta cheese on here as well, but that's the salad right there. Got a base of quinoa, our beautiful meaty portobello mushroom marinated, and then the arugula, the baby greens, the carrots, and the cucumbers. And tomatoes can go on here as well. Tomatoes, again, meaty, right? Meaty type vegetables can go on here as well. In fact, let's go ahead and just take a tomato. What I love about these salads is salads are so quick and easy to make. Chopping vegetables really doesn't take hardly any time at all. That moments ago was a full tomato. It is now ready to go onto my salad. So I got a good, chunky, healthy, hearty, meaty salad going right here. Here it is with the tomatoes. A gorgeous salad. Yeah? All right. Now, feta cheese or goat cheese. This is crumbled goat cheese. Crumbled goat cheese is fantastic on this salad. Some people, however, want to go totally dairy-free, so that wouldn't work for them. But it also looks really nice just to put a little bit of that crumble. And you get to this. That's one of my favorite parts. So there's a salad. Nobody's not going to love you for making this salad. So this is the marinated portobello mushroom salad. Meaty, chunky, hearty, and it's going to really fill you up, and it's so darn good for you. It's going to fuel you to get done what you need to get done. And as I always say, you make food that you love so that you can love yourself from the inside out. Feed yourself well, love yourself wholly, and it'll make it much more possible for you to get all the things done that you need to get done in life. And you love yourself, love life, love each other, and thank you very much. Enjoy.